First Peter chapter 1 verse 15. And First Peter, verse 15, chapter 1. It says, "But just as He, God, who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do. For it's written, be holy, because I am holy." Because God's holy, He requires holiness from us as well. And you know, that's interesting. The Bible doesn't say, be holy on Sabbaths. And the Bible also doesn't say, be holy when you are in the church. And the Bible doesn't say, be holy when you are in the presence of your brothers and sisters, not even close. The Bible says, Peter says, be holy in all you do. Because you are God's holy and He requires holiness from you. You know, holiness is not like a piece of your life. You know, it's about everything you do. Holiness is about everything you are. Sometimes we think in holiness and Christianity as some clothes that you can just put on and take off whenever it pleases you, but it's not like that. Holiness is a decision that you do every day. It's a covenant that you make with God every morning. And in fact, holiness is something that you choose even before the temptations come. Just for an example, you know, you don't choose to be holy when your boss asks you to work on Sabbaths. It's not then that you choose to be holy. You did or not it before that. Our God is a holy God, and He requires holiness from us in everything you do. So be holy, says the Lord, in all you do. So let's keep reading Isaiah now. Please be back in Isaiah chapter 6. Isaiah chapter 6 verse 5. And it says, "Woe to me, I cried, Isaiah. I'm ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. And my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." Try and just imagine that scene. When Isaiah goes to the temple, he starts praying, and when he lifts his eyes up, he sees God, the powerful God, the amazing God, the Creator, seated on His throne. You know, the center of the whole universe is before Isaiah's eyes. And he looks around God, and he sees those angels flying and singing, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty." And he looked to all those astonishing scenes, and he understands that God's holy. And after that, he looks to himself. And he realized that the only thing he can say about himself is, "Woe to me, I'm ruined, I'm undone." In contemplating God and then look at himself, Isaiah realized that he was nothing compared to the eternal. And that's exactly what we are compared to God, nothing. No, we are sinners, and we must have it in mind. You know, I've heard sometimes people talking about perfection and about, living without sin. And, some people say that in the Christian life, you must get in a high level of spirituality and where you know more sin, But, it surely comes from a wrong comprehension. What about the sin? What is sin? And, David says in Psalms 51 verse 5, he says, "Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me." We are born in sinfulness. And, it's like a disease. We were born infected by this disease named sin. And all our cells are infected by this virus. Sin is not just about what you do, but it is also about what you are. And the Bible kind of say what we are. The same book of Isaiah, if you want to read it, is chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 6, just some page before. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 6. It says, "From the sole of your foot to the top of your head, there is no soundness, only wounds and welts and open sores." No soundness. Hard, isn't it? It doesn't sound like perfection. Try to be like a vegetarian and you are going to be a sinner, a vegetarian sinner. Try to come to the church every Sabbath, and even though you're going to be a sinner, and try to do just good things, I'm talking about the good things, and even though you and I are going to be a sinner that just tries to do good things. I'm not saying that those things are bad, like if you come to the church every Saturday, every Sabbath, keep doing that, please. Thank God for that. If you are trying to do just good things of your life, thank God for that and keep doing it. But what I'm saying is your acts don't make you perfect and without sin. Isaiah, I really like Isaiah. He talks about lots of things, but Isaiah talks about our righteous acts. In Isaiah 64, Isaiah 64 verse 6, he says something interesting about our righteous acts. So Isaiah 64 verse 6, Isaiah says, all of us have become like one who is unclean, and all our righteous acts are like filthy rags. And we all should grow up like a leaf, and like the wind, our sins sweep us away. Like filthy rags, our righteous acts. He's talking about our best, our righteous acts. There's a big organization, I guess you know them. Their name is Alcoholics Anonymous. I think that's... Have you ever heard about it? Yeah? Like AA? Yeah. So, they try to help people that are addicted in alcohol and people that are struggling against the alcohol, and they do some meetings, and I've been in some of those meetings, not exactly because I was struggling against alcohol, but because my father did. And for many years my father had problems with drinking, and alcohol, and he knew about the AA, and he started to went there to attend those meetings. And when I became aware that he was going there, so I decided to go with him, and I did like 2 or 3 times. And it was an interesting day for me. I remember they used to sit as a circle, and as you could see your face. And I remember that everybody had to say something, and they started saying something like, my name is, for example, John, or my name is Luan, and I'm alcoholic. And they start to share with the others their stories about how they were struggling and their victories, against the alcohol. And in the end of the story, they used to say, I'm clean. In other words, I'm without drink any alcohol for 2 days, for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. And something that, I remember very well that there were some men there, and when they finished their stories, they told something like, "I'm clean for the last 10 years, and I'm clean for the last 15 years." And even after 10 years without drink, 15 years, they keep saying, "I am an alcoholic." And they do that because they know that inside themselves they have this disease, named alcoholism. They know that. And that's the same story with us, As much as we walk with Christ, we start to getting better and better and better. But even after years, walking with Christ doesn't mean that you are not a sinner anymore. Even if you are doing just good things. Because inside you and inside me, we have this disease named sin. How arrogantly we tend to come into the presence of the Lord sometimes. And if we could sense His Spirit, purity and holiness, and we would cry out like Isaiah did, "Woe to me, I am ruined, I'm undone." But after that, he acknowledged his sinfulness, like saying to God, "I am a man of unclean lips," and that's exactly what we should do. Not just acknowledge our sinful nature, but confess our